we get to this point at Christmas where, we're planning ahead. There is overflow. We're not needing to rack up credit card debt. Like I always plan ahead and be like, hey, who do I want to buy for? And the reality is how much do I want to spend? And it's not like I don't use the language of how much can I afford to spend, but it's how much do I want to spend? Because do you know what? Yes, I have money in the bank, but I have big investment goals. And my life, the quality of my life and my husband and my children, that's number one priority, because that should be number one priority for everyone. Welcome back to Wealthy as Fuck, the podcast. I'm actually recording from the beautiful Brisbane, which is on the east coast of Australia. I'm in my hotel room and cannot wait to dive in to today's topic, because by the time you are hearing this, when it first comes out, we're only going to be weeks away from Christmas time. And it is meant to be, for most of us, well, it's meant to be for everyone who does the whole Christmas thing, a joyful time, a freeing time, a happy time, a time of connection, love, making memories, quality time. And it's, especially in Western society, it's very much more a time now where there's a lot of stress and pressure and financial burden and expectations and honestly people pleasing. And I don't know about you, but there's definitely been times as I became an adult and I honestly couldn't wait for Christmas to be over. I was excited for it, like the lead up, because I had a feeling like my inner child's like, yes, it's time of year again when it's fun and all those things. And then when push comes to shove and places to be and presents to buy and food to cook and working around that and all the things and the pressure, and it's like, I cannot wait for it to be done so we can sit back and relax. And even saying that myself as a child, like Christmas time, I have beautiful memories of Christmas. But it was also when it came to like the financial burden side, like myself and my brother, we never really got all the toys we wanted. We definitely were spoiled in a sense. We definitely got awesome presents. And look, I have to say, one of the perks of divorced parents is 2 lots of Christmases, 2 lots of presents. And as a kid, you want the presents. Not that we ever got the fancy things, or, my cousin always got the baby born and I got the hush little baby, like the cheaper version. My cousin's always got like the Sony PlayStation and the new games that came out, and we got secondhand or nothing at all. We got the hand-me-down TVs because mum, she bought herself for Christmas a new TV. So we got the hand-me-down ones, which is still cool, but everything was handed down. There was nothing new in that sense. And everyone has a different experience. And I share mine knowing that there was a lot of other families worse off and all the other kids having worse off experiences. And then other families where, your childhood probably you're like, oh my gosh, Christmas is so amazing. It was just so much fun and easy breezy. But now I'm adulting. Holy shit, there's all the pressure and expectations that come with it. And when it comes to the money side, especially when we're already feeling the crunch, feeling the pinch, feeling all the feels, no matter how much money we're making, it really adds like this dampening of this gray cloud around this time. And it's not that we're in 100% countdown of excitement mode. We're in, okay, I've got to get ahead. I've got to make sure I'm getting this present now. And so I'm not stretching myself too thin financially. And am I going to put that on credit? I'm going to afterpay that. Do I wait for there to be deals and sales? And it's a fucking shit show. It just takes up so much mental capacity. Right? And then what usually happens, and I see this cycle, and this is a cycle I was stuck in, is then comes January, New Year's resolutions, and we want to be starting the year fresh. Yep, I'm going to get ahead financially. I'm going to save this, blah, blah, blah. But we're feeling the financial hangover from Christmas. So that's carrying into the new year where there's credit card debt, afterpay debt, owing people, or just that financial stress of I wanted to get ahead this year and I'm already starting in the red. I'm already starting behind. And I felt like I spent all year playing catch up from last Christmas time to finally catching up to then the cycle repeating itself again. So I actually have some stats that I'm going to read, because I was like, I'm curious of what the stats are now, because I would always check these and they change annually. But look, the Australians are expected to spend, so each Australian is expected, an adult I'm assuming, to spend about $1,500 each this Christmas, whether it's food, presents, alcohol, eating out, travel. So that adds up to about $30 billion nationwide. $30 billion is going to be spent this Christmas time. Okay, so, and you know what? $1,500 per person at Christmas. So I'm thinking about Daniel and I. Daniel's my husband. We have put aside usually around the $3,000. So that pretty much is on par. Where unless you're buying extravagant gifts, if you're like, no, I'm not. I'm going to be conservative and give a budget to everyone I'm buying gifts for. That's what you probably do, right? Is where am I going with this? I just had it in my head. That $30 billion. It's about $500, $300 to $500 on gifts. That's been so conservative because there's been times where I've spent that just on one person because you really want to buy something nice. So do you know what? This is a really good reflection for you to be like, how much are we actually spending on gifts? And gifts is yes for each other. And I know the percentage of couples who are like, let's not do gifts for each other this Christmas. That has massively increased because, if you have kids, you prioritize kids. And then family, usually it's parents, siblings. Then if you have extended family or you do the best friend things, or then all the kids start coming, they like you hit this definitely happened to us where, myself and all my friends circle, we started having kids in our late 20s, early 30s. And so all the kids started popping up. And then, we want to buy for the kids because it's Christmas and you want to give that experience. The spending just increases. Okay, so what else, other stats did I get? That's pretty much the biggest one. I wanted you to understand, like, it's a $30 billion, even being conservative, even being like, I'm going to cut back. I don't want to spend too much. I'm not doing gifts this year, or whatever the saying is, or the story that you're telling yourself. It's still adding up to $30 billion nationwide. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? So I want to share a little story first. And I've got some questions that I'm going to answer, some really common questions that I used to ask and I get asked. And but I've always, before I healed my relationship with money, so when I was in my broke life, adulthood life, it was Christmas time. It was always exciting because I love spending time with family and doing all these things. But I was like, I really had to ration out, like, who am I buying for? And there was an expectation. There's an expectation of who I'm buying for, because it's like, well, these parents and these siblings and this and this. For me, it's very much parents and siblings. And I just want to actually pre-frame that. I have I had, before I got married, 2 sets of parents. How many siblings do I have? 1, 2, 3, 6 siblings. And then if they had partners as well, there was no kiddies or nieces and nephews yet. So I have a big blended family. I've got step siblings on one side, half siblings on the other. Big blended family. Anyway, it was always like, well, I know they're going to get me gifts, so I've got to get a gift. And it became this energy. And I'd love to know, if you want to reach out to me on social media, I'd love to know if you kind of feel the same way. Well, we roughly spend about $50 per person, $20, $30, $50, whatever. It doesn't matter what the number is. It's this principle of it. I know we'd probably spend $50, and then they got to a point where it'd be gift cards, because it's like, what the fuck do you buy? Let's just get a gift card. So say I give my sister a $50 gift card for someone and she gives me back a $50 gift card. It's like we just swapped over money that was worth the same amount. It just kind of takes, in my opinion, it kind of takes away a bit of the gift giving part, or the fun. It almost just feels like it was expected. And then if you know on roughly that your siblings are going to get you the $50 present or the $50 gift card, and you buy a $30 gift card, when we have grown up with scarcity and people pleasing, when we've been conditioned with this, we will feel guilty if we're giving less. Like there's this expectation of equal exchange. So fairness, right? And a level of fairness, like justice and fairness, comes from a poverty and scarcity mentality, a tit for tat mentality. Which I definitely have. I grew up with this. This is one of the biggest things I had to heal through and shift through and remove from my behavior and the way of thinking. So anyway, there was a lot of that. And then when I healed my relationship with money and we started to, got married and we started to really get money in the bank, it got to a point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can actually afford Christmas. It was really nice. It was really, really lovely. And then over the last few years, because it was only 6, 7 years ago that I healed my relationship with money. And there's a few Christmases that we traveled anyway. So, if you fully boycott Christmas, you don't have to pay for anything. It's great. We were traveling overseas or camping. Anyway, the last few years, something that I've really been embodying and something that I encourage my clients to do, and when they follow my blueprint, when they're following the Wealthy as Fuck principles for mindset and money management, this just starts to happen naturally anyway. Because at the end of the day, I believe Christmas is a time where I want to be generous and I want to give from a space of love and overflow. And the best place to give from is a place with zero expectations. So if I'm going to buy gifts for people who I would want to out of a desire, so I don't now buy gifts because I feel like I have to, I buy them because I want to. So the energy behind it is so much more. But I give without expecting to receive, in the sense of, if I was to receive gifts, and I know my family, and it's very common here in Western society to be like, focus on the kids, don't worry about the parents. Maybe not Western as global, maybe more Australian, or maybe I'm assuming, and it's more so my family, but I know not a lot of other families do this. But where was I going with that? I don't give with now the expectation of receiving, even though I love receiving the gifts. I'm open to receiving the gifts. But I have family members who are not as financially stable as I am. And that is okay, because honestly, I always wait for them to come ask for advice, and I'm still waiting. I don't know if they listen to this, but I'm still waiting. I'm here to help and share all the things I've learned. But I have family members that are financially stretched, or they have money, but they still got the scarcity mentality like I used to have, even when I was earning 100 grand a year and still felt broke because I still believed I was broke. I still had poverty, scarcity mentality. So they have this scarcity mentality. So they constantly, they're like autopilot. They drop into, their nervous system drops into a fight or flight stress response at Christmas time. Now, I would much rather them not buy me gifts and not even buy my child gifts, right? If that means it's going to relieve financial pressure for them so they can pay their mortgage, they can put food on the table. We live in a society where there's this expectation and pressure that even if you're struggling and you're defaulting on your mortgage repayment, that you should still be buying gifts for other people, especially because they're buying them for you. I think that's fucked up, and I think that definitely feeds into the problem of the financial burden at Christmas time. So myself and my clients, what happens is we get to this point at Christmas where, we're planning ahead. There is overflow. We're not needing to rack up credit card debt. I always plan ahead and be like, hey, who do I want to buy for? And the reality is how much do I want to spend? And it's not like I don't use the language of how much can I afford to spend, because that's a limiting language. It's a scarcity language. But it's how much do I want to spend? Because do you know what? Yes, I have money in the bank, but I have big investment goals. And my life, the quality of my life, and my husband and my children, or like future children and current child, that's number one priority, because that should be number one priority for everyone. I should not be prioritizing the needs of my parents, my siblings, my friends, and extended family before my own. And they shouldn't be putting me before them. Okay, so if my immediate goal is to increase the quality of life, and that's buying investments or clearing debt or whatever it is, the Christmas presents come second for other people. So then I work out from a space. And I guess right now, as I'm recording this in 2025, we do have our next property investment goal ticking away and about to happen in the next few months, which will line up with Christmas time. And we have other things happening that's going to increase our need for more cash flow and money, et cetera, et cetera. So then I'm like, okay, so how much do I want to spend? Who do I want to gift to with zero expectation that they're going to buy me something back? And how much would I love to spend, and what can I do? What can I do? And so I've already got the thoughts in my head with what I want to do with all that. And then when myself and my husband, we talk, like, if you want to save money or not overspend, and you want to do the whole let's not buy each other gifts, don't do it from an energy of, oh, we can't afford it, let's not do it. Like Daniel and I are in a spot where like we can buy our stuff. Like, what do we even need? We don't need gifts from each other. Or if we want to do something, maybe something little sentimental, or then it comes down to like gifts aren't actually highest in our love language. Yours might be. So then you play into that because how you feel and receive love. Ours is more quality time. and traveling and stuff like that. So we come up with like what's actually going to mean something to us other than another present that's going to collect dust or potential waste of money. And you know what? We're currently renovating. So it's like, let's go to Bunnings and buy what we want/need and treat it like a gift to ourselves. So then it doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, we have to like buy that because, we just put new fancy lawn in, so we need to get a lawnmower. Let's treat it like, let's get a bougie lawnmower and it's a gift and it's going to feel good. Do you see how when you just shift the perspective and shift the energy around it, how much better, more abundant it feels? Okay, so I want to talk about that. Then the other thing is, if you're in a space right now, it's like, but Kim, what can I do right now? What can I do right now? Because the position I'm at, and a lot of my clients are at is, we've spent months, I've been doing it for years now, implementing the Wealthy as Fuck blueprint, implementing the wealth principles, allocating money using the percentages, not overspending, clearing debt, building buffers, attracting more money in, having the nervous system at its capacity that can hold more, feels safe to hold more, not just blowing it or splurging it. So by the time it gets to Christmas, it's just easier decisions. It just all falls into place. But if you're like, okay, it's a few weeks out, I'm stressing, this is really going to challenge you because you will have a level of expectation of what your family expects and what you need to do. Take a real hard look at like, what am I going to prioritize here? How can I put myself first? Because people pleasing will always keep you broke. If you know, I never ever want to encourage cutting back or restriction. Definitely not long term, but short term, as a short term empowered sacrifice for the long term bigger goal of you getting ahead financially. So like you're only doing it this Christmas because you're going to spend next year sorting your finances out, getting your shit together so you're not having to be in this fight or flight again. But think right now is like, what are all the events that I genuinely want to go to? Okay, am I providing food for any of these? What are some food things that I can do that aren't going to cost a lot? Okay, get creative. If you want to save money, it's going to cost you a bit more time. If you want to save time, it's going to cost you more money. We pay for convenience. Okay, especially in the modern world, we're paying for convenience. Like if you're working all week and you're like, oh, I'll just get a Costco platter, which I'm pretty sure their prices are pretty good anyway, but I'll just go there and do that. But look, you could have probably made that for less if you bought all the ingredients yourself, but then you got to put the time in. So you have to make these decisions. You can't be a victim of your circumstance because then that's never going to get you ahead. You have to decide, like, if I'm going to save money, I'm going to put in time. And something people do is they make food and they make yummy, delicious treats. Now, I never used to be this person because I was like, fuck that on a time perspective. No way. I am now the person who, I don't cook. I don't even bake. So when it's Christmas time, I make my mum's rum bowl recipe. I want to keep that like as a legacy. So I'll usually I make Rocky Road and rum bowls. Now, yes, it takes me a lot of time, but I do it out of fun, not because I'm like, oh, I'm trying to save. I'm not doing it from a scarcity energy because then I'll resent, like, it's taking forever. I got to stay up. It's another thing on the to-do list. I do it from, I fucking love to make them. So where in my day can I fit this in and make it a fun, like, activity? Not as nice. Because the thing is, if we get closer to Christmas and I feel like I don't have the time to do it, I'm not going to do it. I'm not promising anyone. I'm not committing. I'm just like, this is what I would love to do. Can you see me from the energy? So then that's where another place you can look at is, where are you committing based off the people pleasing? Look at the time you have. Look at the money you have. What's realistic? Prioritize your peace. Because I bet right now in your life, you're like, I just want peace. I just want peace. You can say it, you can want it all you want, but if you don't prioritize creating it, you're never going to fucking get it, which is why you're constantly like, I just want peace, I just want peace, I just want peace. And it's never coming because you're not creating it. So look through, as I was saying before, look through like who it is that you generally want to buy for. How much would you like to spend that's not going to make you feel stretched or resentful? If there's things where you want to give and you're like, do you know what? I love baking or I love cooking or I love whatever, and I can do this and gift from that sense, and that's going to give me that beautiful feeling of generosity, then get baking. Or do you know what? There's probably other things you can do, but the extent of my imagination at Christmas time is very limited personally because I don't mind buying some gifts. I'm a quality time spender, or I'll make rum bowls. I make really fucking good rum bowls. So why try and make anything else? Stick to what you're good at. And then this is another thing that I share. I was going to answer some questions, but I actually think all the questions I had, I'm kind of answering them anyway. The other part is, if you really, really, really want to relieve that financial pressure and the expectations of buying, you're going to have this uncomfortable conversation, and possibly more than once, to multiple people. Now, your subconscious, your autopilot response when I say this is going to go, oh, I don't want to do that, because your fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of letting other people down. When you stay in that fear, all you do is let yourself down, which is why you're struggling. Okay, so now you need to break this loop, break this cycle. Get on the phone to mum, dad, brother, sister. If you need to, type it up. You know what? We're in a day and age with ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT to write it. Edit it so it does not look like a ChatGPT, but ChatGPT could probably help you with the words, so it takes the emotion out of it for you, but it's worded really beautifully. Okay, so send the message. I encourage you to pick up the phone, but I have the practice and I've done that I have the confidence to just say my truth, speak my truth, do it from love. That's the end of it. But at the start, it might be easy to hide behind a text message and just put it out there, and don't send it in a group, because you're sending out to multiple people and multiple potential judgments and expectations. Don't do that. Send it individually and say, look, right now we're feeling really stretched financially, and I'm not wanting to be a victim or complain about it. But the last thing I want this Christmas is to feel the stress. So I'm sending this message because I know you love me and I know you support me. And either whether it's my or our, because you're a family, our priority right now is being able to pay the mortgage, being able to have a beautiful Christmas lunch with everyone, blah, blah. So because of this, we're not going to be buying gifts for everyone. And please do not feel the need to buy us gifts. If you want to still buy gifts, please, by all means. But we just wanted to have this beautiful conversation. I just wanted to have this open conversation to let you know where we're at, because I know deep down you don't want us stressing, and I don't want to be pretending everything's okay. So I would really love to be prioritizing where our money's going. If your parents and siblings and close friends or family members that love you, if they genuinely love you and they get that message, of course they're going to support you. If they don't support you and they come back with, usually it's going to be the narcissist in them, come back with any kind of guilt trip or whatever, fucking red flag. And then you should not be buying them gifts and rewarding their bad behavior anyway, because that's not support. That's not love. So with that, there was something else I was going to say. Oh, can you see how that message, something like that, the energy of that is loving and kind, and it's that vulnerability, right? It's the vulnerability of, like, I'm not looking for help. I'm not looking for you to fix my problem. This is just where we're at and where we're prioritizing, and we would love for this to be a beautiful time. This is where we're at, blah, blah, blah. Compared to, and I've heard this, I get this almost annually from family members and stuff, and you know what, I would have said it too in the past. Send it to the family chat or send it out. Not doing gifts this year, too expensive. So what that does is when you receive that, the little girl in you or the little boy in you goes, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, especially when it comes from parents. Now, not that your parents or family members are trying to be assholes. They're just stressed. And so this is their coping mechanism, right? But we know that doesn't be received well. And flip it around. If you're the person doing that, if you say not doing gifts, can't afford it, or not doing gifts, blah, 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 blah. And it's from that energy. I know right now, you're like, yeah, I say that because I'm stressed. But you have to understand how that comes across. Okay, and you don't want to hurt other people because you wouldn't want to receive that. So how can you come back into overflow, back into abundance, loving energy, a nice, calm nervous system? When you're in that space, you're going to attract more money. Anyway, you're not going to feel the stress. Okay, when you're conversing or talking from that stress point, it just causes more ickiness in the situation. Anyway, it puts that dampener on Christmas. It's almost like when I get the messages, it's like I know better now and I don't let it get to me. But when it did get to me, it was like, oh, well, fuck, Christmas is stressful already. We're still 4 weeks away getting these messages or getting this told to us. Fuck, Christmas is already financially stressful. It sets that expectation of the stress, which you're trying to avoid. So anyway, lots of food for thought there. The other thing you can do as well, because that's more like you're changing your energy, having the conversations and whatnot. But it depends when you're listening to this, okay? Start putting aside and allocating for Christmas. Even if it works out $50 a week and you do it for the whole year. Have your separate online saver Christmas fund. Okay. I tell you, Daniel and I do this. We're in a position now that we organize our money. It's so streamlined that it's usually around 3 months out before Christmas. We work out how much do we want, like how much do we need, how much do we want? Do we want a bit more? We're also in a position where my husband's a sole trader. He's a contractor. So if he'll take some time off over Christmas. If he doesn't work, he doesn't get paid. But we still have wages that we need. We still have bills to pay. So we take that into consideration of how much is needed so we can give him holiday pay. So we get ahead so we're not feeling the tightness and whatnot. And it works out so well. And then we reverse engineer it. So say we want $5,000, we need $5,000 and we've got 12 weeks. So what is that over the 12 weeks? So it's short-term money allocation. Unless you have a full system and blueprint, like I wouldn't recommend doing that. I would recommend putting it aside for the whole year. So everything's running smoothly. Okay. But when you're in a position like myself or my clients who've been following the blueprint for a couple of years now, you can chop and change. Just like when in 6 months we're deciding to go traveling. So we just need to rearrange some things because that was never part of the plan before. And now it's part of the plan. We just chop and change and move things around. By the time it comes, we have more than enough money for all the things. It's so easy. We're not like struggling and trying to save or racking up debt. So take from that what you will. I really would love for you to be able to have the most abundant Christmas yet. And the more you do this, each Christmas will get easier and more fun. And the more you let go of people pleasing and expectations and doing what your heart desires, that's where you're going to feel that true joy that everyone wants at Christmas time. Anyway, I'd love to know what you took away from this episode. Please send me a message on Instagram. Like, go check out the show notes. All the links are there. I'm pretty sure my savings cheat sheet's always added as well. So you can use the savings cheat sheet for saving for Christmas. So you have that buffer in the bank. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week and Christmas time.